If you're like me, then you've got some kind of chronic illness that is keeping you from living the life that you think you should be living. And if you're like me, then you also believe that you're able to get around that. And day trading might be a way for you to reclaim some independence, get your financial well being back under control, which is a really big part of um, making a full recovery, in my opinion. You know, I am currently going through a flare up, and so I thought today was a good day to make this video and talk about how trading is really hard when you're learning to begin with, but it's even more so when you feel like shit. And how do we recognize when trading is being affected by our illness? I spent a lot of time over the last several months kind of reflecting and doing a deep dive into this, trying to separate the two so that one doesn't impact the other. Because in the beginning, what I was realizing was that when my trading wasn't going well, the stress and the anxiety during trading sessions was actually triggering flare-ups for me. And what I seem to have is chronic fatigue syndrome, is what I'm being told. Um, it's not a hard diagnosis, but it's the running diagnosis, and one of the primary characteristics of that is that life events and stressors can trigger your flare-ups and put you into downspin. And so during trading, that would occur. So I spent a lot of time kind of rewiring my mind for trading so that I wasn't so emotionally attached to it and wasn't so riled up by losing trades, by losing weeks, by blowing accounts. As a result, my health is actually improving, which is really cool. It's like this symbiotic relationship. As I become a more stable trader, I become a more stable patient, which was an unexpected kind of happy accident of this whole situation. Now what I'm focused on is making sure that when I feel unwell, my trading doesn't fall apart. I have noticed that I am most vulnerable to making stupid decisions or getting really emotional with my trading on the days where I feel the lowest. Today is one of them. And it was a great example of how the work I'm doing helped me to avoid making any big mistakes. In fact, I took one trade, followed all my rules, and it was a winning trade. It wasn't my best trade ever, but it was a winning trade. Whereas in the past, I would be like on a day like today, I woke up in pain. I never really went to bed last night. I just woke up in a lot of pain. And for me, it's almost a nerve sort of pain. It's everything. Everything hurts. And I've got this most prominent thing is this kind of burning in my face. It's a headache, but it's also burning sensation in my skin. It's in my face, and it works its way down my neck, through my arm, and down into my knee. And with that comes this kind of brain fog and this almost tunnel vision and this lack of clarity. And in the past, I would just not trade if I was feeling that way. But lately, I've been putting a lot of time and effort into managing that and kind of disassociating the two, making sure that that pain and that feeling is recognized. I pay attention to it. I journal about it. And I acknowledge the fact that it could have a negative impact on the way that the day is going to go. So after having done that, I'm kind of able to sort of put it in the corner. It's still there, but it doesn't drag me down so much. And that, paired with my plan and my system, allows me to operate during the session more or less unhindered. I'm able to execute my plan and make sure I'm not trading from that place of pain and emotion. All that to say, it's still very difficult, and I'm sure there are others out there who are dealing with something similar, which is part of why I wanted to create this channel and document this experience. I know there are a lot of people out there suffering and struggling with some kind of illness, some kind of chronic illness that they're not making a ton of progress on. And I know that it has an impact on your performance when you're trading. And this is not the answer. This video is not the answer. This video is just kind of a thought exercise on how do we manage our symptoms while maintaining consistency in our trading. I think it's that, it kind of comes back to the main theme that I'm finding in my own trading, which is self-awareness and naming it. If you are able to put a name on the thing that is gnawing away at you, you are able to almost objectify it and move it out of the way. It's incredibly powerful, and I think that's kind of the secret sauce and the thing that I'm finding success with. It's not a foolproof system, but the results have been steadily more effective as I practice this this approach of paying very close attention to how I'm feeling physically each morning and mentally, naming it, labeling it, and I'm able to go into my day with more clarity and more focus on the task at hand, which is execution. And when I'm done with my trading, which is, I only trade for about an hour and a half, then I can kind of back up and pick up where I left off with my symptoms and trying to get those under control. So anyway, a lot of nonsense, a lot of rambling, and no clear answers for anybody, but maybe it'll help. And if it does, tell me in the comments. I want to hear from everybody, but I especially want to hear from those of you that are dealing with some kind of similar situation, and whether that be health or financial crisis or caring for somebody in your family who's having a health crisis. That shit's almost harder. And, I want this to be a space for that. So leave it in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one.